Everyone, it's Ekayani Chamberlin with the Living Connection. How are you today? This is the weekly edition, and I thought it would be a good idea to do a bit of a recap of the things that have been posted to the Living Connection with yours truly on Facebook. I do have a Facebook page there, so feel free to like it, ask questions, and interact. So first and foremost, actually, I would like to express my deep concern and sympathy for more than 500,000 people, 300,000 people in West Virginia, whose drinking water has been poisoned by a chemical spill into the Elk River by Freedom Industries that is taking no responsibility for the spill. And apparently there's no fresh water being delivered to these people. People are experiencing rashes, burns, headaches, vomiting, all kinds of things. And what's even more ludicrous is that this company, or the relief water that was being distributed, was contaminated water. Did they think no one would notice? This is very, very, very serious. If there are any on the boots, on the ground, grassroots organizations in West Virginia, around the Charleston area, please make yourself known. There's got to be a way to get you some fresh water. So water is our most valuable and precious resource, and it's time that we really raise our voices for this and insist upon, regulations. Having poisonous chemicals on the riverbank has been a recipe for disaster, and that's a practice that's been going on for far too long, and we're paying the price for it. So that's what I wanted to express. As you may or may not know, I'm very concerned about drilling and fracking in New York State, where I live, and around the world. This is a huge issue. So please, now is the time to speak out, raise your voices, and get savvy, about water. Okay, so moving on, speaking of water and health, I wanted to bring up the whole thing about cancer and iodine. And when you go to the Living Connection on Facebook, you will see that I posted an excellent video that I found by a Dr. Bob DeMaria, who does a wonderful job of clearly and thoroughly explaining the function of the liver, the importance of keeping it clean, and the important role that iodine plays in healthy liver function. He goes into an explanation, for example, of bile. The liver has many functions, and one of its functions is to produce digestive biles. In fact, it produces 5 different kinds of digestive biles. And what I found revelatory is that bile apparently is actually alkaline. So people are experiencing a lot of stress these days. A lot of it has to do, of course, with the foods that we're eating that are processed, that are subpar. And that creates an acidic situation in the body, acid reflux, all these different digestive issues that people have. So in one of the points that Dr. DeMaria was making is that iodine is an important factor, and that it will help keep your liver healthy and help your body produce healthy and enough digestive bile. It shouldn't be thick and pasty, apparently. So I thought that was a wonderful tip. I really encourage you to look at that video. He makes a lot of points. I'm not going to say all of them here because I would be stealing his thunder. The other thing that I posted this week also for you is a link to a book called Gluten-Free Girl, and that is a recipe cookbook. It's available on Amazon, and I decided to post that because I was talking to a client this week who had a really bad gastrointestinal attack, as it were, with severe gas, diarrhea, and cramping. and basically was out of commission last weekend. It took 2 days, and it transpired because she had a couple of slices of pizza, obviously not gluten-free pizza, and it's something that she hadn't done in a long time. She's been following a much cleaner regime and also been very good about staying on point with high-quality nutritional supplements. So she really, really noticed the difference this week. So I put that up there as a resource for anyone who is looking for ways, and there's plenty to eat, as opposed to, gluten that is found in wheat. For example, rye breads. I also want to say that anything that I say here, I'm always talking about eating organic, non-GMO, clean foods. So there you go. That's something for you to give you some guidance if you're making a transition and trying to alleviate yourself of symptoms of gluten intolerance, celiac disease, etc. Because of course it's very important to stay nourished. And a lot of times when people have these symptoms, one of the side effects of it is that you become malnourished, because essentially the gluten intolerance does a number on your small intestine and sort of slowly destroys it. So a heads up about that. Okay, another thing, I have some friends out there who are asthmatic, that suffer with a lot of mucus, and as I was thinking about that, we hear that greens are very good and juicing is very good, but I wanted to point out that different fruits and vegetables also have different supportive or tonic effects on our bodies. Something that you might want to try when you're making your smoothie is to use dill. Fresh dill. Dill is excellent. That helps break down, mucus. Also, you can add some radish. You can add red radishes, perhaps the long Asian radishes, daikon. I think you've seen that. Or black radishes are also very good. Put that in your NutriBullet if you have it. And also citrus. Any kind of citrus. So a combination of those three things would be great. It's probably a little spicy. Radishes can be a little spicy. So you may want to temper, the flavor or the strength of it by adding some greens to that. Parsley, celery, whatever you like. Experiment. Be brave. It's fun. Let me see. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that you'll also see that I put a post up about BPA, or a non-BPA blender bottle. So it's great to be juicing, and of course if you're at home on the weekends and you have access to your blender, life's a breeze. But what happens when you go to work? Most places of work don't have a blender, and are probably not, even if they did, are going to allow you to spend that time making yourself a fresh juice for lunch. And it can get a little pricey when you go out. I know, especially here around the Big Apple. So a non-BPA blender bottle is a great thing that you can carry with you if you're commuting to work. It will fit in your, cup holder in your car. It can fit in your purse. You can make the juice, before you leave, just pour that in. It's got a nice cap on it, and then, avail yourself of that, maybe for breakfast or lunch when you get to the office. Most offices have a refrigerator that you can put into it. But why non-BPA? Well, as it turns out, BPA is a resin, and it's a resin that has estrogen in it. And so if you're not interested in growing man breasts or, sort of triggering different hormonal problems, this is a way to avoid that. You've probably heard people caution you against eating a lot of canned foods. And the reason why is that the metal cans are lined with BPA. It's something that has been used as a quote, preservative to kind of keep, the foods to be able to stay on the shelves for an eternity. But it's not something that you really want to be exposed to on a regular basis. And it's also used in a lot of, plastic bottles, etc., like I'm talking about. But short of getting a bottle like that off my website, if you go into a GNC or a Vitamin Shop or wherever it is, make sure that the label says that it's non-BPA blender bottle. It should have a sticker on it. It's also something that if you're have a child, an infant, and you're not breastfeeding anymore, and you are bottle feeding the baby, make sure that the bottle that you're using is a non-BPA bottle. Of course, in the old days, when I was a little kid, moms used glass bottles. But short of that, make sure that you look for a non-BPA bottle. So that's all I have for you this week. Again, please like my page, like my channel. I want to thank all the new people that have subscribed. Shout out to Brigitte this week. And to your health. Bye now. I'll see you next time.